Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
It's time now for the Patty Conklin Show, exclusively on HealthyLife.net radio.
Okay, folks, it is Dr. Frenesa K. Hall, M.D., as Patty likes to say. Patty is off today, and I am very excited to interview my guest, Carmela Tafoya. We have known each other for, 20-something years. She was my personal trainer for a while, really helped me get into shape way back then. And she is working with a new company called mindvybe that does vagus nerve stimulation. And I had to read up on this because, I had heard about it kind of vaguely in the background, but really didn't know much about it. Before we get into that, Carmela, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time out to share your knowledge with us. You're, I know, very knowledgeable about training and health and wellness and nutrition, and I know that you don't jump into some new thing lightly. You do your homework and you dig into it, and so I'm intrigued by mindvybe. But before we get into that, I would love for you to sort of tell folks about your background because you have a vast amount of knowledge and experience. So take it away.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Vanessa. It's hard for me not to call you Dr. Hall because you were also my physician. In any case, in 1989, I left the corporate world by no choice of my own and decided to become a personal trainer in the days when there wasn't even a certification exam for personal trainers like there is today. And when I embarked on my personal training journey, I had also just moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where having a personal trainer was not very common. In any case, just through good fortune and maybe some dumb luck, I started training people in their homes, and I ended up with a very good referral basis. And one of my clients said, I just lost my husband, and I really want to socialize more and be part of the gym scene. So is there any chance instead of training me at home, you could train me in a gym? And lo and behold, I went to work at Body Attack. And that was not exactly the type of training that I really felt comfortable being a part of. Luckily, they moved and changed locations and became Body Architects. And Body Architects was the perfect fit for my style of personal training. I continued training at Body Architects until 1994 when I ventured out on my own and opened my own fitness studio. I had my fitness studio for almost 17 years, but I also was intrigued by doing workshops around the country, mostly because I had clients from Atlanta by then who moved. And they said, can you fly into Chicago and teach all of my friends your system? Little did I know I had a system. So my first program I designed was called the No Excuse Workout. And unfortunately, all I got was excuses, because that's kind of part of what the game is like when you are motivating and inspiring and badgering and cajoling people to do their homework. Later, I changed the name of my program. It virtually remained the same to the Honoring My Body workout. And so that led me to needing a little break and having an uncle in Germany who was not doing well with his health. So I flew there. My family history, my mom's German. in any case, and I stayed for 3 months, and I got the idea that I wanted to move, that Atlanta had run its course for me. So I moved to Honolulu, Hawaii, and have been here for almost 18 years.
18 years?
Oh, my God. It's so long. And so I continued to personal train till December of 2023. And that is when mindvybe came into my life. And what we call it in Hawaii is, it came to me through coconut wireless, meaning my neighbor down the street who we walked dogs with said to a bunch of us, my niece is coming to town and she has this machine and it helps with everything. Do you want to try it? And I'm rolling my eyes saying, right, helps with everything. That brings us pretty much current to today.
Wow. That's so funny. But so often I think being in the health and wellness field, people approach us with all sorts of things that they discovered from, God knows where. And so often it's hype with no real science or proof behind it. But this was different. Tell us about your exploration into mindvybe.
So, first of all, I had some background in 2020 studying and bringing myself current with the vagus nerve. I moved my mom here from assisted living into adult foster care, which is a program that allows individuals to be in a care home setting with a family. And there's, every facet of being in family life instead of being in a facility. And Mom was here for about a month, and then she started fainting. So after 3 times being at the ER at the height of COVID, I decided I got to figure out what's going on with my mom. And so we figured out, the caregiver and I, that there were certain times that precipitated fainting or almost fainting. And it had to do with the vagus nerve. So I took her to her doctor, who's a gerontologist, a specialist with elderly, and I asked him, is there something you can give me or do or prescribe for my mom's vagus nerve? I think she's having low vagal tone. And he said, I don't know very much about that. So I devised my own little system at the time for 9 things that the caregiver could do if Mom looked like she was about to faint, and she did never faint again. We were able to shortcut the actual vagal tone shutdown. Our vagus nerve, I learned when I started or became involved with mindvybe and Inner Still Health, which is the name of the parent company, the developers of mindvybe, the machine, our wellness device. I became aware that the vagus nerve is actually connected to our parasympathetic nervous system. That's our rest and digest part of our nervous system. And because most people, probably everyone, operates a bit more or a lot more from their sympathetic nervous system, that's their fight or flight system, that it's very important to have the knowledge, to have the ability to understand the differences between those 2 parts of our central nervous system and why and what needs to happen for them to be in balance or homeostasis. Because that's really how we're born, is with our nervous system in balance, unless there's a big stressful event like a child born with a heart problem so that led me to really diving deep into the parasympathetic nervous system and how my device, mindvybe, can actually help very quickly someone feel well. To the point, within a week period of time, 1 week, we have anecdotal evidence that, in other words, people that were given a survey before and after the start of their mindvybe sessions, an 82% improvement in wellness. I never help someone feel more well in 1 week as a personal trainer.
Oh, no. As a physician, no, never. I mean, so the tools that allopathic physicians have are oftentimes have a downside to them, where people, their blood pressure is controlled or their blood sugar is controlled, but they feel like crap. You know, so, you know, and then even if you're not having a side effect, say, from a medication or whatever, I don't know anything that'll give you 80-some% sensation of wellness and feeling good. I mean, 82%, that's really astounding. You know, you look at any conventional clinical study, 82%, that just doesn't happen. So let's just back up a little bit, because I want to make sure our audience understands these two aspects of our nervous system, the parasympathetic, as you said, rest and digest, versus our sympathetic system, fight or flight. So, for instance, folks, when we are, well, let me just go back to the zebras. I don't know if you've ever read the book Why Zebras Get Ulcers, because I think it is a great resource for people to understand this balance and why it's so important. So, if you look at zebras in the wild, they're out frolicking, eating, grazing, you know, chilling out. The lions come, and they perk up. They see the lions. The lions come to catch one. They run. Their pupils dilate. Their blood vessels dilate. They start breathing faster. Their heart beats faster. They empty their bladder and bowels, and they are in motion, running literally for their lives. But we've all seen those pictures of the lions after they've caught the elderly or infirm zebra, and 100 yards away, the rest of the zebras are frolicking and eating and doing whatever like nothing happened. So they had this big sympathetic surge, this fight or flight, which creates a cascade of release of hormones, the stress hormones, especially epinephrine. We all know about that. It makes your heart rate go up. You go to the dentist and they give you that as an injection, and you feel it. Your heart rate goes up. You know, you're on edge. You're ready to go. You're breathing more shallow, and you're on edge. And when the danger is gone, zebras return back to their rest and digest space. Now, we humans, we are designed to do that. But what often happens is we start to worry about what happened and what could have happened and what happened last week and what, you know, it could have been my family, all of this stuff. And unfortunately, the brain doesn't know the difference between the actual event happening and remembering the event. So, in other words, after the zebra has been caught, the other zebras, if they were continuing to worry, they would release the same chemical neurohormonal response to their body with the increased heart rate and increased blood pressure and dilated pupils and slowed digestion, because when you're trying to get away, you don't need to digest food. And so humans, we have gotten way out of balance. And like you said earlier, we are spending so much time on the sympathetic side because we're worried about, you know, everything. And in these days with the instability in the world, you know, people are caught up and they're in that sympathetic side so much, and not getting back to the baseline parasympathetic side, the rest and digest side. So I just want people to understand just how detrimental living in the sympathetic side of things can be, because that increases your risk for weight gain, diabetes, hypertension, and the list goes on. So just have that understanding as we go forward and talk about mindvybe and vagal nerve stimulation and the benefits. So, Carmela, tell us about what this device actually is and what your experience was using it initially that got you to where you're like, oh yeah, this is something I can sink my teeth into. This is something that really benefits people.
Absolutely. So being offered the 5 initial sessions within a week, which is the protocol the company has tested on the most users, led me to make the commitment and went over to my friend's house. Her mom and dad were there. Each of us went on the device. And that night I slept better than I slept in 5 years. Mind you, I had no concept of having a sleep problem. It was, as COVID started, I didn't have to keep my normal schedule, be up early to see clients, so I'd wake up and be on my phone, and then sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and be on my phone, and sometimes that turned into 2 or 3 hours on my phone. But I went to bed early and I got up later, and I never felt tired. I never felt like I was having exhaustion from not enough sleep or interrupted sleep. And so it was astounding. But more astounding than that was my friend's mom has been diagnosed with chemo dementia from having chemotherapy for colon cancer. No history of dementia, Alzheimer's in the family. It was really, devastating to the entire family. And this is like someone who's a second mom to me in Hawaii. We call people that are like family, but they're not blood relatives, hanai, which means adopted. And so I'm part of the ohana, which means family in Hawaiian. And I watched the mom after one session be so much calmer. Her paranoia was gone. She wasn't talking rapidly and repetitively. And in that moment, I saw my mom. As I said, I moved her here in 2020, and her dementia exhibits all of those facets to a greater degree, because mom's been diagnosed at least 8 years, where my friend's mom's diagnosed 1 year. I just said to myself, I think I have to have this machine. Then I did my second session, and that next morning I had a bowel movement. Sorry to talk about that, but at 6 a.m. and to date, so 15 months later, I have a bowel movement between 6 and 7 a.m. I never had a bowel movement at that time. I typically woke up, ate breakfast, took some fiber capsules, drank a couple of cups of coffee, and maybe had a bowel movement after noon. Now it could be 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. So this is because the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve, exiting the brain stem at the base of the skull. And the biggest piece of the vagus nerve, the biggest cord, runs directly into the gut, the digestive system. It's called the gut-brain axis.
Yes.
And so, therefore, of course, a very common result is improvement in digestion. But the vagus nerve, just after it leaves the brainstem, starts to splinter across the ear, the actual ear, and at the surface of the skin. It goes down the neck near the jugular. It enters the voice box, and there's some splinters that go into the tongue, and then it just wanders. It's called the wandering nerve.
That's what the vagabond nerve is.
That's exactly right. So then it wanders through all the major organs practically, of the entire torso, minus the thyroid. It runs through the male and female sexual organs, and even at the base of the spine, the vagus nerve leaves the brainstem, it leaves the spinal our spinal nerves, and it enters the lower back near the bladder, the kidneys, and so forth. The first 75 people I had on the device had 50 different reported benefits, improvements.
50? 50?
50.
Wow.
I mean, everything from feeling calmer, of course, feeling less anxiety, having less racing mind, having less brain fog, better concentration, improvement in addiction, which that
wow.
led to a really beautiful project that I was able to be a part of last October at Addiction Recovery
So hold that thought.
Here in Hawaii.
Hold that
Absolutely.
thought about that project. We're going to have to take a break and come back. I want to hear about this project. I want to hear about the effects on dementia and addiction. I mean, this is just powerful. So we'll stay with us, folks. We'll be back after the break.
Want to get that man or woman out of your mind? How about being in the right state of mind for getting that job promotion or staying positive to help boost your immune system? Want to break those old habits? Then it's time for an emotional cellular cleansing with Patty Conklin. You'll get a private 3-hour session in person by phone or by Zoom with 3 months of follow-up appointments, plus email support. But you'll have to do the work, and homework materials are included. Find out more or to book your appointment, visit pattyconklin.com. That's pattyconklin.com.
Audiobooks gives you instant access to over 50,000 of the best sellers and hottest book titles in romance, mystery, fiction, and many other genres. Just visit healthylife.net's advertiser page and click on Audiobooks to get started.
If you're wondering if Patty can help you heal, why not book a free 15-minute consultation either by phone or by Zoom? It's a great way to see which of Patty's services is right for you. You'll discuss her services in detail and how they can apply to your specific situation. It's really a great place to start, and you can sign up for your free consultation by phone or Zoom on Patty's website, pattyconklin.com. That's pattyconklin.com. Get the help you need today. Sign up for your free consultation at pattyconklin.com.
ASMC, the premier German company that supplies everything for adventure, from outdoor clothes to outdoor gear, even backpacks. Lots of quality and lots of specials. To start your adventure, go to healthylife.net's advertiser page and click on ASMC.
Okay, I get it. You're a doubting Thomas, and you don't want to pay for something unless you can know what it's all about. Well, now you can find out just what Patty Conklin's energy healing is all about. Go to pattyconklin.com to sign up for her free group energy adjustment, held every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Experience for yourself the transformative energy designed to bring calm and healing to your life. Space is limited, so sign up now. Go to pattyconklin.com, click on Services, and you're there.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Okay, folks, Frenesa Hall here with my guest, Carmela Tafoya. This has been so fascinating. Just before the break, we were talking about that this device in your clients, they reported 50, that's a 50, different health benefits, from digestion to mental clarity to calmness and on and on and on. And then you said addiction. Now, in my job, part of my job is working for life insurance companies. I see cases of claims, and I'm seeing these claims where people have passed from fentanyl toxicity, methamphetamine toxicity, Some people are in their 20s. Some people are in their 60s. I mean, it's just this, devastating losses. And I'm thinking, my goodness, if we have something like this that can effectively help people with addiction, I mean, this would be fantastic. Tell me about this. Tell me more.
Sure. So, first of all, mindvybe is a wellness device. So we do not have the authority to claim that we can help cure medical conditions. But we've been doing studies, and we did an addiction recovery center study in Pennsylvania early on, and the study was so impactful that the use of mindvybe along with the protocols that the center used actually beat each other out. So in other words, there was a test group, and people who were on mindvybe initially before they did their other protocols got better results than people who were just doing the addiction center protocols. Now, that might have been an anomaly. I don't know the very big particulars of that study, but in October of last year, I had the opportunity to be invited, along with my CEO, Ellen Ito, and our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Beth Dupree, to do a study at an addiction recovery center here in Hawaii. We worked with 8 people initially. They had 5 sessions on mindvybe within a week, which is our protocol, as I mentioned. And then I did follow-up results or follow-up maintenance sessions for the next 5 weeks. The addiction study in the mainland was 10 sessions, 10 days in a row, so I was inventing a new protocol, or we were. And what we found, even after one session, is faces got calmer looking. Some of the participants were smiling more. They were saying things like, "Is this what normal feels like?" They were exhibiting stress just leaving their body. And the Recovery Center Director of Operations was astounded. She just said she noticed a marked improvement in every single one of those 8 residents. After the next 5 weeks of maintenance, which brought them then to the 10 sessions. That was the goal, to have them have as many sessions as the first study in the mainland. And the highest percentage improvement in wellness, and this was with an even more stringent survey that they were asked to answer. One of the boys had 70% improvement in wellness. The next had 63% improvement in wellness, a female. But across the board, their description of how they were feeling was mind-blowing. It was the most important work of my lifetime. I'm 65 years old, crazily started a new business when I could have claimed Social Security, and then I'm watching these residents talk about they're not having cravings. They're feeling like they can deal with interactions with the other residents better. They're not getting so worked up and high-strung about things that don't go their way. That they see themselves being one of the young men, 46 years old, right? We call them our kids because most of them were younger. He said, "I wish my mom could see me. She would know I'm going to make it."
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
That almost makes me want to cry.
Believe me, I had tears, and they had tears, especially the girls. You know, the female has a little more emotion in them. But just to sit and watch their transformation was life-changing for me and for them.
Yes.
So addiction is definitely one of the things that we're very interested in continuing to pursue centers where we could bring mindvybe. Also, we're looking to work with vets and PTSD. I'm following up a really important lead at our Veterans Hospital here, and we're looking to do a facility where there are people with mild cognitive impairment. So I said 3 days into it with even more results that I can share later, personal results. How do I get this machine? How can I have this machine? I need it for my mom. I just knew that if maybe it could help her memory, I didn't know. And there is some good clinical research starting to be available about vagus nerve stimulation and mild cognitive impairment. But I knew that if it calmed her, if it helped her be in a more soothing place, I would spend anything. And it's done exactly that. For the last 15 months, I've had my own mom on mindvybe around 75 times. Initially, I did the 10-day protocol because when there's a lot of disruption in the hormonal status of the brain, of the nervous system, I should say, not the brain, you don't know where the results are going to be. And if people are on a lot of medication, whether they use a lot of marijuana, whether they are doing any other illicit drugs or alcohol, it takes much more time for there to be balance in the rest and digest and fight or flight nervous system. And I immediately noticed Mom calmer. Again, her repetitive conversations were gone. Her asking nonsensical questions were gone. We were having the most normal conversation that I've had with my mom in almost 10 years.
Wow.
And she maintained homeostasis in the beginning for sometimes up to 2 months. And then I would go to visit her, which I do regularly and multiple times during the week, and she would be starting to exhibit those former behaviors and mood. So I just hook her back up to mindvybe. It's a low microcurrent of electricity, 6 points on and around the ears and the neck. You can't feel it, and you can't change the current of the device. I can't manipulate the current. It's an on-purpose part of the design, and I'll talk about that more in a moment.
Okay, well, this so far is just fascinating. Both of my parents had dementia, and so, and also my spouse's father had dementia, and so this is near and dear to our hearts. So, folks, stay with us. There's more to come about this amazing technology, safe technology, I might say. And stay with us. Come back after the break, and we'll talk more with Carmela Tafoya.
The pulse of the blood in your veins means you're alive, but a high or low pulse could mean you're not in balance, which could cause problems. But now, Patty Conklin has found 3 ways that can constantly make sure your pulse is kept in balance so you can move easier through life. Subscribe to Patty's Healing Pulse today. It has a plethora of things to do, discounts, book club, and so much more. Visit pattyconklin.com to find out more about Patty's Healing Pulse subscriptions. That's pattyconklin.com.
Reach your health and fitness goals. Whether you want to lose weight, learn to dance, build muscle, or just live healthy, Beachbody gives you unlimited access to the nation's most popular fitness and weight loss solutions. Visit our advertiser page and click on Beachbody now.
You may not be in the same room or even the same country, but Patty Conklin's remote energy work can help you heal whether you have an illness, emotional wounds, or are in spiritual turmoil. And she can do it remotely. You can choose your session time, too, starting from 30 minutes, 3 hours, or even 6-hour sessions. Healing energy. Healing you no matter where you are. Visit pattyconklin.com, scroll down to Remote Healing, and book your appointment now. That's Remote Healing at pattyconklin.com.
For the best in business class travel, count on Cheapo Air. Cheapo Air has the best price guarantee, 24/7 customer service, and easy booking online or by phone. To experience your hassle-free journey, start by going to HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Cheapo Air.
If you're on PattyConklin.com, you might want to visit her store. There you can inexpensively buy powerful visualizations on a plethora of subjects, all to help you heal, help rebuild your immune system, work with color or tonal energy, help remove fear and depression, and so much more. Plus, you can get Patty's best-selling book at her store, To Be Your Best Too. God Within is a great book to teach you how to use the lost knowledge of the universe to impact your physical life today. Visit her store at PattyConklin.com. You'll be glad you did. PattyConklin.com.
Expanding your mind. HealthyLife.net.
Okay. So, folks, this conversation is amazing. And just before the break, Carmela was telling us about the device itself and sort of how it's set up on the person and what the sessions are like, and what, if any, and my question is, what, if any, downside? So, Carmela, walk us through, what a session would be like, what this device is like on the person, and how that works.
Absolutely. So, first of all, mindvybe is a small little box about the size of an upright Kleenex box. We attach to it a harness that has 6 wires that are attached on the ear with an ear clip. There's we call it a conchicavum because that's what the part of the ear is called, the entering of the ear canal. The opening, that's an acupressure point. And then we have 2 neuro patches, so sticky patches, kind of like you use with a TENS unit on the neck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The session is 50 minutes, and during the session, a person can be doing everything from having lunch, so like busy, stressed professionals don't even have 50 minutes. Could just sit and calm themselves. We recommend that our clients deep breathe, meditate if they already do that, but they can be on their phone. I vibe the whole family in their living room, and they were watching soccer. The session itself is designed to be the length of time that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which then produces the hormones, especially serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, and other neurohormones immediately. And so in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, especially young people actually feel something. They feel themselves get calmer. They feel their breathing slow down. And at the end of the 50-minute session, we ask for the survey, so we have some data, and they're on their way. The technology of mindvybe, number one, it's portable, so we can do sessions anywhere. I've done many sessions at the beach, which is, of course, a very soothing environment anyway. The microcurrent is so low and designed that way on purpose that you do not feel anything while hooked up. There's no sensation, there's no tingling, there's no anything. Designed like that on purpose because mindvybe, our wellness technology, is the first microcurrent stimulator where people cannot reach saturation. In other words, you can't use it too much, and people cannot plateau. In other words, it's not like drugs where sometimes a certain drug isn't working well and then you need more of it.
Right.
2 weeks after that 5 sessions, remember I said it was an 82% noted improvement in well-being. 2 weeks, no more stimulation. Our original study group reported 93% improvement in wellness.
So they got better.
There's a cumulative effect. The body keeps producing the hormones that it gets stimulated to produce. Kind of like you put jumper cables on your battery if it's not starting the car, and then the car's fine for a while, and then Maybe you need jumper cables again, and maybe you need a new battery. Only thing is, we can't get a new parasympathetic nervous system. We can't get a new vagus nerve. And therefore, we know that the ongoing maintenance session for most people will continue for a few months, a couple of months, 6 months typically at the most. And that maintenance session could be 1 week after the 2-week initial period of cumulative effect. It could be every week for a period of time. Our CEO found this technology and found the inventors of mindvybe when her 16-year-old son, the first year of COVID, started to be depressed. He was suicidal. He was acting out, and there was nothing that could be figured out to be the root of it. There were drugs, alcohol. He just shut down. And so she tried many of the other stimulators on the market. mindvybe is unique because you do not have to hold anything. Some of the devices you have to actually rub on the neck. And nearly every device on the market the current has to be manipulated and or changed by either the clinician or the client or the person. So in other words, you turn it up a little if you don't feel it, and then maybe turn it up a little more, as I understand it. I've never tried any other device, and you don't feel it, and you turn it up a little more, and you feel it, and you have to turn it back down, and you have to do that every session. You have to choose your level of electrical current. mindvybe does not require that. That's another reason I got involved. It was a no-brainer.
Easy.
Right.
You put it on, you relax.
Sorry, yeah. Yep.
You watch TV or whatever, you do your session, and you don't feel the device. So you don't feel something from the device.
No.
You just feel the effects of the device.
That's right. And in 2,500 users, we've had 0 reported side effect or ill effect. And
0.
For someone like my mom, who wiggles all over the place, I give her my phone with Elvis videos, so she'll stay still, and she bops her head a little and dances to the Elvis videos, and I can get her to the session.
Yeah. So let me just repeat this. Let me interrupt for 1 second.
Sure.
So this device that you put on sends a set microcurrent to stimulate your vagus nerve. You don't feel it actually doing it, but within a short time, people report feeling more relaxed, breathing rate slowed down. And over time, the sessions, it's like you said, 82% felt improvement, and then after the first set of sessions, weeks later, 90-some% effects that sort of were cumulative, and on top of this, 0 negative side effects. So that is, to me, that makes this device a no-brainer for people to try, particularly with our challenges in this nation with addiction and people dying every day from addiction, and many people failing, going to rehab multiple times and relapsing. Anything we can do to help, to potentially help that, to me, is something that should be everywhere. I mean, should be readily available, because the drugs used for some drug treatments have problems as well. So, folks, stick with us. I can't believe the time's gone by this fast. Stick with us. Come back after the break and hear the rest of this fascinating information about mindvybe by my friend Carmela Tafoya.
Patty Conklin is busy, but she's never too busy for you, and there are lots of ways to get a healing session with her. You can even get one via Zoom or by phone. With 29 years in the business of energy healing, Patty has a unique and remarkable ability to connect with your energy to help you heal on a mind, body, spirit level. From angst to pain, you can get help from Patty. Book a half-hour healing session and embark on your own personal healing journey. Visit PattyConklin.com and click on Services. That's PattyConklin.com.
If you're looking for unique items at affordable prices, then you should try Dream Product. From apparel to beauty, from shoes to therapeutic relief products, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Dream Products, and maybe your dreams might just come into reality.
Want to get that man or woman out of your mind? How about being in the right state of mind for getting that job promotion or staying positive to help boost your immune system? Want to break those old habits? Then it's time for an emotional cellular cleansing with Patty Conklin. You'll get a private 3-hour session in person, by phone, or by Zoom with 3 months of follow-up appointments, plus email support. But you'll have to do the work, and homework materials are included. Find out more or to book your appointment, visit PattyConklin.com. That's PattyConklin.com.
Get high-quality glasses, sunglasses, and prescription lenses at eyeglasses.com. Choose from over 250,000 items and 400 brands. Already have frames? Get replacement lenses. It's easy. Go to our advertiser page and click eyeglasses.com.
If you're wondering if Patty can help you heal, why not book a free 15-minute consultation either by phone or by Zoom? It's a great way to see which of Patty's services is right for you. You'll discuss her services in detail and how they can apply to your specific situation. It's really a great place to start, and you can sign up for your free consultation by phone or Zoom on Patty's website, PattyConklin.com. That's PattyConklin.com. Get the help you need today. Sign up for your free consultation at PattyConklin.com.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Okay, folks, we are back with my friend Carmela Tafoya telling us about this amazing device called mindvybe that has far-reaching beneficial effects. It is a vagus nerve stimulator. You don't even feel it when you're doing your session. And just to recap, 0 negative side effects thus far in use. Now, Carmela, you all are going to be doing some amazing altruistic work coming up. Can you tell folks about that and get them to get the word out to people they know? So tell us about what you're doing.
So as is the case with the commitment that the company has, Inner Still Health, to providing services in the community, free services, donated sessions, I was talking to my CEO and telling her about a friend who I know from the Pacific Palisades who lost everything, his business, his home, and his 10 Olympic swimming medals. Immediately she said, let's go to L.A. and let's do community service for people impacted by the fires, first responders, firefighters, and, of course, anyone who lost their home, had to evacuate, and ended up in a high-stress situation. We will be able to donate $1,000 worth of mindvybe sessions to each person. We're currently set up to do sessions out of the Santa Monica Library. They're not sanctioning us or sponsoring us, but they're very graciously allowing us some space. We need 5 chairs and maybe a table, and we're ready to go. The project will begin on March 22nd and continue through March 30th, so upcoming very, very soon, and anyone and everyone will be considered. You can find out more about the project by going to our website, mindvybe.com, and vibe is spelled with a Y, mindvybe.com. The company website is innerstillhealth.com, and I'm personally taking reservations through text messaging. And my phone number is 808-554-1633. We'll be in Santa Monica, the first part of the 10-day trip through the 26th, and then we'll be going to Pasadena to offer the services closer to the Altadena area. It turns out my CEO's husband was born and raised in Altadena. His high school burned down, and so just a couple of locations that make it a little easier for people to come to us. We'll be testing some new protocols, and there's just, every part of this initiative is to help bring some calm and some relief of anxiety, some wellness to the folks who are obviously in a high-stress mode. Lots of things cause stress in our lives, but can you imagine?
Yeah. No, I can't imagine. And this is such a wonderful gift for people because this was, devastating. We use that word so much it almost seems trite because it just doesn't really convey the situation. But, we know that when people are more calm and less agitated, that they function better. And when you've gone through a tragedy like this, there's so much that you have to do. You have to find a place to live. You have to figure out how to have clothes. What are you going to do with your job? There's just so much to do. And when you're on overload and anxious and agitated, your brain, your cognitive function is not operating on all cylinders. And so to be able to offer these services to help people and just kind of take some of that edge off and have people feel even just a little better, they will function better and be able to take care of business that they have to take care of better. So folks, that's mindvybe, mindvybe.com, mindvybe. And Carmela, give us your phone number again. If you know people in Pasadena, Altadena, and Santa Monica area that have been impacted and could benefit from this, please give them this information. That phone number again?
808-554-1633. And I'll add that we will be in search of at least one or two technicians, a counterpart to myself, who would be open to becoming a mindvybe coach, having the device, and being able to continue to do maintenance sessions. So it isn't like we're going to be on the ground, help these folks for a short period of time, and then to what apparently could be the stress returning to their life sooner than the average person. Mm-hmm. Also, I would like to share a few things that can help stimulate the vagus nerve without the opportunity to be on our device. Unfortunately, like I was mentioning to you earlier, after having a very successful fitness career in Atlanta, I really would love it if there was someone in Atlanta, Georgia, who was interested in becoming a part of our team. And so if anybody knows of someone, we're really excited to also pursue opening the market in LA while we're there.
Excellent.
And so in that regard, first of all, a couple of things that some folks might not understand or know, that one of the things that stimulates our fight or flight system the most are blue screens, which is why earlier I said probably everybody is in some sort of cortisol overdrive or cement, not to mention adrenaline and so forth. All the fight or flight hormones are affected by blue screen, not eating at regular times, not eating a balanced blood sugar controlling diet. We know we produce cortisol when we're starting to be pre-diabetic. Travel is another thing that being on an aircraft stimulates the stress hormones. And our sleep patterns. So anything that's just out of sorts for people. But here are some things that I like to leave people with, because everyone gets excited. Physicians are still a little hesitant about a wellness device and doing all these things. But if you hum, sing, chant, shout, gargle, chew gum, and of course the big ones, meditate, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, any one of those things could make a difference.
Well, that's funny you should say that, because I have recently been doing Tai Chi, and and yoga is the same way. It opens different meridians and channels and helps release excess energy and heat and so forth. But folks, we, as usual, we fly through these sessions. It's so fascinating. I can't thank you enough for joining us today and sharing your wealth of information about this technology that I think can be so helpful for so many people with no downside. So folks, share this information with your California friends, somebody in Atlanta that is interested in particularly being a practitioner. Reach out. This is important. We need more things like this to help improve wellness without adding toxicity. So thank you, Carmela. Thank you for joining me today. And folks, Patty will be back next week. Flying solo. I'll be out of town. Thank you for joining us today, and stay well.
You've been listening to the Patty Conklin Show on HealthyLife.net radio. To listen to it again or share it with a friend, visit HealthyLife.net podcast on demand link on our homepage and click on Patty Conklin.